cardinal doctrine which they seek to teach is that souls do not die, but after death pass from one person to another. So they're teaching the transmigration of souls, kind of like Pythagoras. Other ancient authors, by the way, attest that this was indeed an important doctrine of the Druids. And this belief they hold to be the greatest incentive to valor, since it causes men to put aside the fear of death. So contrary, to what some people might be expecting, the Gauls, at any rate, they're not dreaming of Valhalla as they charge into battle. They're, dreaming of being reincarnated. Besides this, they have many discussions as touching the stars and their movement, the size of the universe and of the earth, the order of nature, the strength and the powers of the immortal gods, and hand down their lore to the young men. And just pause here. When he says the order of nature, that's De Rerum Natura, which is the title of Lucretius's poem, which is kind of a novel collocation in Latin. So this is one of the reasons people think that Caesar's reading Lucretius when he's in Gaul. Just a fun footnote there. Caesar reading the great Epicurean poem. Going on here, the other class are the knights. This is the military aristocracy that he's talking about. These, whenever there is need for them, especially when a war breaks out, they all devote themselves to war. And before Caesar's coming, this would happen just about every year, when they would either be making wanton attacks themselves or repelling them. And according to the importance of each of them in birth and resources, so is the number of servants and dependents that he has about him. This is the single form of influence and power known to the Gauls. And now for one of the most fascinating and influential passages of all this section. Quote, "The whole nation of Gauls is greatly devoted to ritual observances, and for that reason those who are smitten with the more grievous maladies and who are engaged in the perils of battle either sacrifice human victims or vow to do so, employing the Druids as ministers for such sacrifices. For they believe that the spirits of the immortal gods cannot be placated unless one human life is given for another. They arrange this kind of sacrifice for the community as well. Some of them use figures of immense size, whose limbs, woven out of twigs, they fill with living men and then set them on fire, and then the men perish in a sheet of flame. This is the famous Wicker Man, or maybe the Burning Man. Apparently the Burning Man organizers deny any inspiration from the Wicker Man. Anyway, they believe that the execution of those who have been caught in the act of theft or robbery or some crime is more pleasing to the immortal gods. But when the supply of such fails, they resort to the execution even of the innocent." You would think, according to typical ancient ritual propriety, that they would want, unblemished victims, the innocent, but, conveniently, the Gallic gods prefer criminals, apparently. So Caesar's going to talk about their gods a little bit. The gods are personal. The Romans can find rough equivalents for Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Minerva among the Gallic gods.